Welcome to Deck Doctors, a clinic to cure the imperfection of decks. I'm Dr. Darkness and I will be your field medic today. I will analyze your community submitted deck lists to identify any problems at hand and tell you the best course of action to improve your deck's performance on battlefield. This episode's deck list was submitted by Renivius, who asked us to take a look at their semi-budget Mobilize deck and help them to take it to the next level. Mobilize decks are versatile decks who most reassemble the archetype commonly known as midrange. Mobilize decks are not only able to pack a punch with units that grow into giants, but they are also able to heal extremely large amounts of health, making the deck a constant threat to almost all other decks in the game. I was very happy with the deck Renivius had managed to put together for themselves. However, I still saw some areas where I felt I was able to improve the deck list. The Mobilize deck focuses around taking advantage of a keyword, which non-surprisingly is called Mobilize. Mobilize units get +1/+1 at the start of each turn until they take damage for the first time. Meaning, if we are able to keep our units relatively safe, they can suddenly become huge threats to our opponent. Our mulligan consists of looking for early game cards such as Honey, Pioneers and our 1k orders such as Naval Power and Monty, while also considering keeping a couple cheap Mobilize units for our mid game. The 73 Régiment d'Infanterie combos very well with the Honey, allowing us to quickly grow a very large unit. For our mid game, we can combine cheap Mobilize units with the Potters to chain draws and quick healing. The Potters is an extremely important part of the deck and is the engine in which it uses to operate. But of course, every good engine needs fuel to burn through, which is exactly where cheap units such as 5th Parachute Brigade and once again the 73 Régiment d'Infanterie come in. The component of the 73 Régiment d'Infanterie, which interacts so well with the Honey, also synergizes perfectly with the Potters, allowing you to turn this 0-1 infantry into 7/8 in a matter of 1 or 2 turns. If these highly stated units aren't enough to seal the deal, we have a backup win condition that synergizes with our heal, our Commonwealth. One of the first areas I felt could be improved was our late game, which I expanded on by swapping both Régiment Étranger for a second carpet bombing as well as the Churchill Havre, which provide crowd control and game swinging abilities. Then I looked back at our mid game, which had a strong foundation but could use a remodel. So I took out the Kitty Hawk, Sea-Force and Blackwatch and replaced them with an extra Defend 'em Deaths, a call to the colonies and a third airdrop, which when combined with our Potters should provide us with an explosive mid-game. I then polished up our early game by taking out a 1st Airborne and one of our naval powers for the 85th Pioneers, a staple in almost any Brit deck, as well as the Secret Operatives, which will provide protection for our Mobilize units until they grow large enough to protect themselves. With these new additions to our deck, our early game and openers are very similar, but our mid to late game is far better at answering threats and aiding us to close out the game, as well as offering potential to swing games which seem otherwise lost. The double carpet bombing with the Churchill Arvorer is key to this potential, giving us a total of 3 different ways of clearing boards, allowing us to move in with our Mobilize units to finish the game or set up our Commonwealth by protecting our HP. Some of the minor changes I made, like adding a third airdrop or another call to the colonies, leads to have more consistency in the mid-game, giving us less situations where we feel optionless. This updated version should already be powerful enough to help you climb the leaderboard and achieve domination and victory on the battlefield. However, the situation may come up where you want to go even further with this deck. So I made the ultimate doctor's version of this deck lists, adding even more improvements and adjustments of the cost of more wildcards, of course. In this list, I added 4 new elites to help us to outmaneuver our opponents. The first one is Monty, which could even be argued for over the Pioneers. Monty is one of the strongest elites in the game, offering both AoE pin and draw at a fraction of the cost of similar cards. The next elite I added was Shelling, which is almost the perfect mid-game tool, offering both AoE as well as credit denial, meaning it will almost always have a use no matter the situation. The third elite is Royal Research, offering draw and heal for Commonwealth with Radar, as well as Synthetic Rubber as a potential way to help us close out a tough game. The fourth and final elite is Wellington, which is an overall strong unit which finds its home in almost every British deck. To clear a space for these 4 powerful cards, I took out the Mosquito, as in comparison to other options, it's often too slow to be sufficient value in Mobilize. I also removed another first airborne and both the remaining naval powers, as with cards like Monty and Shelling, as well as Radar for healing, we simply no longer need these early game tools as they become obsolete. These 4 changes make up my final version of the deck. But for those who feel unable to spare the wildcards, our original improved decklist should be more than sufficient for you to achieve victory. This brings us to the end of our session with our first patient, Renivius. I hope I was able to diagnose the problem and give you the appropriate prescription to go with. Make sure to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I've been your Field Dr. Darkness, and I will catch you guys next episode.